This episode is sponsored by UPMC Altoona Elite Orthopedics and the UPMC Sports Medicine Concussion Program. UPMC Altoona Elite Orthopedics and the UPMC Sports Medicine Concussion Program are proud to support youth sports across our region and proud to sponsor the 2022 High School Football Preview on the Altoona Mirror YouTube channel. To learn more about their board-certified orthopedic surgeons, their specially trained concussion management experts, and the wide range of orthopedic conditions they treat, or to schedule an appointment in one of their facilities in Hollidaysburg, Ebensburg, or Bedford, visit upmcaltoona.com/ortho or call 814-889-3600. That's 814-889-3600.
All right, all done with the Blitz magazine. Great product. All done with the high school football tab. Took all summer, but I'm finally ready to go out and enjoy the summer and have some fun now.
Michael, we ready to do our first football show for the 2022 season?
Are you serious?
Yes, I am.
I guess summer's over.
Hello again, everybody, and welcome to Season 4, which was determined just moments ago, of the High School Football Preview Show here at the Altoona Mirror, on Mirror TV, on YouTube. My name is Scott Franco. I am your host. And before we introduce Guru Mike Boydham here, for those of you who missed our little preview show for our Blitz about a month or two ago, Andy Stein has joined our staff. Andy played high school football in Mo Valley. Played college football at Teal.
Teal College.
I always want to say Thiel, but it's not. The H signs. No. And he's part of our staff. He's going to be on the show every week. And we're already nervous if we bring a coach in. Where the heck are we going to put a coach in? We might just lay Gary Black across the table, kind of like a model. I think Gary would do it. I really do.
Andy, where's the Mo Valley helmet?
Yeah,
I got to get a hold of Michael Keith for that.
Yeah, I just think you could just show up at the school and take one.
Probably. They still all love me.
Do you not have your helmet from high school? My sons got theirs. They got to keep it.
I don't have my college helmet.
Oh, yeah. My sons have their Hollidaysburg helmets at home. But anyways, Andy Stein will be joining us each week. And again, high school football guru Mike Boydham, who had about 12 minutes of non-high school football stuff over these past 5 months. And he shook that out of the system, and he's ready to go. He's already got our list of games. Our first game we're going to look at, Hollidaysburg at Altoona, Friday night, 7 o'clock. Michael, what are we expecting from this game?
Well, that's the big question. What are we expecting? Because there's so many different faces, as you know.
Yes.
Both Hollidaysburg and Altoona had a lot of seniors last year, a lot of key seniors. You know, Ethan Stroup was the heart of that Altoona team, led them to a district championship in 2020, and they were 3-0 last year before he got hurt and things kind of fell off the rails. Altoona won this game last year for the first time since they renewed the rivalry in 2018, and they're going to be hungry to keep that going. You know, do you think that Hollidaysburg has what it takes to maybe get back in the win column?
I see. They have so many starters graduated, and you know this more than because you're a lineman. This is perfect. They only have one true lineman back starting on that team, so he's got to incorporate 4 new linemen. There's going to be so many. There's not a lot of seniors on that team. If you read in our Blitz and in our football magazine that came out Wednesday, there aren't a lot of seniors on that team. But the one thing I've always said about Hollidaysburg, Homer Delatre and his staff will coach them up. They'll be ready. If they lose, it's not going to be because they weren't ready or because the other team has better players. But you were right about Ethan Stroud. Ethan Stroud was such a beast on both sides of the ball for that team.
Well, I will say this too, Andy. Altoona likes to run the ball control offense where it's like Army and Navy, and they're running on every play. They hardly throw any balls. As a lineman, you probably would love that offense.
Absolutely, yeah. I love running the ball, and to touch on Scotty's point, it's like, having only one new lineman or one returning lineman, that's not easy. But hey, Homer Delatre is a Mo Valley guy. So
that's right. There you go. Another good time.
I'm not going to sleep on that guy ever.
Our second game, and I have a time to this as I do all the time. Bellwood Annis at Tyrone. That's a 7 o'clock start. This game, we remember how it went last year. I mean, who did you pick in the paper the other day, I wonder? I know who I picked, but what do you see happening Friday night?
Well, I actually went with Tyrone, which is against what's gone the last few years. Tyrone is on a losing streak in this series, which it's kind of interesting if you look at it. Tyrone kind of dominated, Bellwood kind of dominated. They haven't been much like win one, lose one. So I think that Tyrone has a lot back this year, and that's why I kind of gave them the edge maybe early in the season. They'll be more ready to go. Bellwood had a few more things to replace. But I think that, hey, this could be the last time for a while now. Coaches say they're trying to work on it and keep this game as first game of the year, but at least next year it's probably not going to be. So that's
so they will play. They just
they're
won't
going to play.
again.
They're going to play, but next year, like Bellwood's supposed to open with Penns Valley right now. So
don't panic, fans out there. Don't call the mayor going, why aren't they opening this season?
John Franco told me not to give up on it, though.
Yeah, and I'm just curious because you saw Tyrone probably a couple of times. You saw Bellwood.
I saw Bellwood for the last 4 years. I've seen Bellwood every game except for one when I was in quarantine. But
how many linemen do they have back? How good's their lineman?
The Bellwood's line's going to be pretty good, I think. They have almost all their linemen back, I believe.
Because they don't have Cratchula. He was really good.
Cratchula was good, yes, yeah. He's gone. But, it's going to be all new faces, I think, for the most part on the skill end, though. So the interesting thing is I spent 4 years as a sports editor at the Daily Herald in Tyrone. I never picked this game right those 4 years, and I only had those two schools picked, so... I
only pick it right when Tyrone wins because I have to pick Tyrone to win. I can't imagine someday when he doesn't coach down there, if I pick Bellwood Annis, Tyrone people will just automatically be mad at me, I think.
I also had to pick Tyrone in this one because John Franco has been on our show and Nick Loveridge has not been on our show.
And speaking of Nick Loveridge, who I know loves this show, and we quickly forgot before we interrupt, we're going to ask for stuff. These are the helmets which we didn't ask for, but people brought to the mirror for us. This year we are going to ask for, even though a gift basket was suggested by our director, Dana Eisenberg, we would like towels. Maybe towels like with your school logo on it. Like Camber Heights could send a really pretty powder blue and red towel. I wanted to ask for tassel caps or beanies, but I'm ready. I still would love a mascot's head. But if we could get a towel sent to us, I bet you Nick Loveridge would have one from Bellwood. He could send it up here and he could write a note on it. Scott, why didn't you pick us if they would win? But anyways, that'll transition now to our next game. Another big fan of the show, Northern Bedford's Gary Black, hosting Southern Huntingdon. Mike always finds a good tidbit about this game. Go ahead, Mike. What did you have for this one?
Well, it's last year the game was 7-2. That was the opening game, and that kind of set the tone for early in the year with Northern Bedford. They did not have their offense at the beginning of the year, but the offense caught up to the defense by the end of the year. And Ian Snyder, and they're really Aaron Bowers really came on. He had 6 interceptions as a freshman.
Yeah.
I mean, that's impressive. And Northern Bedford, by the end of the year, was one of the best 1A teams in the state. And but it'll be interesting because, Aaron Batesel's coming in coaching Southern Huntingdon, and it's at Northern Bedford, and that's where he went to school. His dad's the athletic director there, Jeff. And that's got to be a interesting feeling for Jeff Batesel when he's seeing his son there, and obviously you know what that's like, seeing your son and
yes, it is.
And having duties both sides. So
and just Southern Huntingdon has a stud athlete in the
Nate Myers, a very good quarterback. There was some people that thought he should be on the cover of the Blitz magazine.
But you know what's important about that, Sam? They're reading the Blitz magazine in Southern Huntingdon. That's what you want to remember of that one. Our next game, Cambria Heights at Northern Cambria. I don't think, Andy, though you probably drove by those schools on your way here, but the Coal Bowl, Mike, what are we thinking about? We'll let Andy here comment in a second, but what do you think about the Coal Bowl this year?
Well, last year wasn't too competitive, but it was early in the year, and Northern Cambria didn't have a lot of players that had a lot of varsity experience. Northern Cambria only lost 2 seniors last year. I mean, and that's a big thing early in the year, that you basically have your whole team back. And Cambria Heights kind of has a target on its back this year after going undefeated and winning the Heritage Conference last year. All these Heritage Conference teams are going to want to beat them. Heights is also down to 1A this year. And I'm going to say this on our first show here, that I think Cambria Heights is going to be the team to beat in 1A in District 6. So I always hear players say nobody thought we could do this. I'm saying in the first week that I think Cambria Heights is a team to watch to win the district championship in 1A.
And the question I'm going to ask you is because Cambria Heights lost their last 2 games of the year, right?
Yeah.
The Appalachian Bowl and then their playoff game.
Yeah.
As a high school football player, if you're coming back and you had this great season and in your last 2 games, they got pounded, didn't they?
Yeah.
How much do you carry that over with you as motivation for the...
Oh, absolutely. You're definitely motivated for, just a poor start to end the year. But, I know I would probably be thinking to myself, what we did those first 8 weeks, let's do that again. Let's eat the same meals that we ate on game day with those games.
Superstitious. I love that.
That's what I would be doing for sure.
Okay, and then our last game, which is the marquee game. I swear this game will have more people at Mansion Park on Saturday night than Hollidaysburg, Altoona, and I think that'll be crowded. But the Cove will be emptied on Saturday night. Central Place at Bishop Guilfoyle at Mansion Park. I would try to get your tickets before Saturday night. Michael, this game looks like it could be huge.
Well, and everybody kind of wanted to see this game last year because last year Central made it to the Final Four in 3A. BG obviously won the state title in 1A. The team scrimmaged last year, but they didn't have a regular season game. So now they get to open the season this year, but for real. And it should be pretty interesting because you got Jeff Hohenstein, who set the record in the state with 57 touchdown passes last year. He's back, but he doesn't have the majority of his line. And, Andy can probably attest to how a quarterback might not feel as comfortable in the pocket without the guys that he's used to seeing in front of him.
Yeah, absolutely. Familiarity is a big thing for sure, and the more experience, just like any other position, the more experience, the better. And I know a quarterback feels much better when he has a 3-year starter as a lineman than a freshman or a sophomore.
And BG has all their skill position people back, but they're also replacing a lot of linemen.
But they do have one lineman back that you like.
Oh, Sante Bombachi. So we'll get to that in a little bit here because the stat of the week returns for our 4th year. Mike always digs up some interesting tidbit. Michael, Dan's probably flashing that across the screen. The stat of the week. What is your stat of the week for week 1 of the Mirror Tube TV show?
Real quick, I'd like to point out that I was really disappointed last year that River Valley got eliminated before I could bring this up, but they actually had a quarterback last year named Stats. How could we have not used him?
Was it his nickname? It was his nickname.
No, his last name was
Stats
with 2 A's.
It doesn't matter. Stats still sounds cool. That would have been even better if that was his first.
Really cool.
But anyway, so the stat of the week for this week is that Penn Cambria is playing Johnstown, and 5 years ago, that was like, wow, that's going to be a tough opener. It just hasn't happened for Johnstown recently, and unbelievably, they are 1-38 in the last 4 seasons. Their only win has been a 33-27 win against Somerset. So they got a new coach, Antoine Reed, former NFL player there, and be trying to turn things around, but Coach Felix and Penn Camry has a good chance to get off to a good start this Friday.
In our second segment here, it's new this year. We're taking a play on words here. Stein's line of the week. Andy's experience, obviously, is offense, defensive line. What is Stein's line of the week?
It's ahead! Short steps. Short steps are better than long steps.
Yeah, quick story behind that. I had a girlfriend in high school she lived on the road going towards Mo Valley, and she had a sign in her front yard during football season called Stein on the Line. It was named Stein on the Line. So it's like that brought up some memories right there.
Oh, she just got a free plug too. So hopefully she's not dating somebody else there now, and her boyfriend finds out that she was dating Andy. Oh, look at that! There you go. So we don't have to worry about it.
But anyways, I love linemen. You know, I have a soft place in my heart for linemen. I know you're probably thinking around there, he's probably a wide receiver and a DB at Mo Valley. Nope, I'm a lineman for sure.
They played around with the idea of splitting them out right, but
like we were talking about before, though, Bell and Annis, you guys are our lineman of the week. You know, I think you're going to see big things out of those guys. If Bellwood's going to be successful, it's going to be in large part because they're linemen, I think, and you know, those guys, a lot of them are returning. So I wish those guys well this year. Prove me right.
I wonder who Andy picked in the paper then. Then our last segment here before we say goodbye, my favorite segment.
I wanna know what's the name of the game.
We actually think, and I don't think Mike believes, but I actually think that somewhere down the line, when people start having kids, they're going to go, I wonder if his name will be on the cool name segment of the Altoona Mirror Football Show. I can only dream about that. But anyways, how big this thing's gone now. Buck Frank, who I don't even think watches our show. He's our boss. But he watches now. He was suggesting names to me, like coming up going, how about this name? How about this name? And I'm like, yeah, okay, but it has to be two names together. Our first cool name from Juniata Valley, Foster England. Fullback linebacker. He's a senior. Foster England. Sounds like somebody who should be writing novels over in Great Britain, I think. And then another name, he's only a freshman, but I expect big things from this kid. He's an offensive lineman, a defensive lineman. His name is Fence Rocker.
Yeah.
Fence Rocker from Portage. And I think he's not even 6 feet tall, and he's a pretty big kid.
What is John Rocker's kid?
Well, let's hope that's not hope that. Well, I hope it isn't, because if I just said that on the air. But anyways, Foster England and Fence Rocker. So that's going to do it for our show. I wrote myself little notes here. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe here on the little corner. Am I pointing to the right corner, Dan? I can't tell. Like, share, and subscribe. But for Andy, for Mike, I'm Scott Franco. We will see you next week for week 2 of the high school football show here on Mirror TV.